right? It's like the pack is back there, you're shooting down, you're trying to get that last inch hit, and I just need to ride it out. Okay? Next two people go, right? So it's going to kind of have this rotation. Yeah? Back, look at that sideways momentum, and then at some point at the last second, I want you to scooch it. Okay? All right. Almost. Here we go.
That's when I like turn my upper body out to the outside, and then I put my hip in there again, right? And then I use this arm to push me forward.
Perfect. Right here, leaving my blocker. All right, so basically what I'm talking about is being able to use a hip to my advantage, right? So I know, because I know the timing that when Queen is going to come in and hit me, I don't want to just let her hit me. I don't want to get here and just be like, right? What I want to do is I want to time when she is going to hit me so that I can use it, right? So don't just that. But what I'm looking for to do here is to get my toe stop on the
So we have a tendency to stand and want to have a strong straight back, right? But we're not dancing, so you want to make sure, keep a little bit of a football stance when you do it so that you could get contact if somebody immediately came in for a hit. So let's make sure that you have a strong stance when you come back. Also, if you don't have a dance background, I do want to say this. Make sure you're looking forward, right? A lot of you are looking at the floor. I don't want to go to the floor, so I don't want to look at it. So make sure when you finish, I'm not looking at the thing that's going to be my demise. I want to look at freedom, which is forward. So make sure you're looking beyond to freedom, all right?
Another thing, when you're coming back around, and this, what Queen was saying about the stance is going to make a huge so that somebody can come and just knock me out. I'm in a position to run out of it because essentially I want to end up in front. Okay? Let's all hop on. We're going to take maybe about 2 more minutes to work on this. Then we're going to add a partner. Okay?
Force from your blocker, so if I came here, I would need a lot of force on this side, all the way around to where I can.
Or 90, whatever. You got to make sure that that's how this leg ends, so that I could run if I wanted to run. But what we're seeing is you're going from here to this, which is hot. It's good to look at, but it's not safe, right? Safety first. And the thing is, I don't know. I've played a little football. I gotta make sure I'm square, right? But if I come out of that maneuver and I'm standing, I'm gonna fall. Trees that are tall and don't go with the breeze, they get chopped out. Make sure you can take a hit, right? So think about that when you're doing it.
All right, so now we're going to utilize these lines that we have out here. There's so many. And we are going to have a partner. So we're gonna line up all on this side of the track. And we're going to do 3 lines. We're going to use this inside line, this line, and the inside on that side, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to get with a partner. Essentially, they're just going to be planted here. You're going to look to do the move, but run out of it, okay? When you do it, you don't want to do it and then just be like, oh, I did the thing, and you stand there and somebody comes and recycles on you, okay? So look to, right here. So look to do the move. This blocker is going to give you a little bit more space since this is like the first time we're doing it with someone. But what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to stay low, I'm looking to do the move and get the hell out of there and be in bounds, not like I just did. Okay? But I want to make that full rotation and I want to look to go this way, right? Like Scald was saying earlier about coming away from that line so that she doesn't get hit out, this is the same thing here. I want to look to go outside of the box. So this can be done in a number of ways. One of the ways that I like to do it is jumping, right? So think that it doesn't necessarily have to be just a stationary thing. It can be at a roll, at a stop. It can be halfway jumping the apex on someone. Just make sure that we're thinking of this in terms of not just doing it one particular way, okay? A couple of things to remember were that you want to make sure you get your toe stop even with the other person. If you're behind them, more than likely you will end up next to them instead of in front, okay? Also making sure that your gaze is here, not here. I might look to, you know, somewhere you get what I'm saying. And I guess the last thing is to remember not to stand up and be a ballerina. You want to make sure that everything's loaded, that you're starting low and you're ending low. You want to end in a position to run out of it, always, okay? You want to be able to haul ass if you need to. Question?
Just out of curiosity, when you say, like, you start low and end low, but how do you get that disconnect that you were talking about at the beginning with, like, or creating that false sense of space?
Oh, okay. So I'm making space here, right?
Yeah.
But then when I turn, I'm coming up a little bit, but I'm not completely standing straight up,
Okay.
right? So I'm taking a little bit of the depth out of my body by going like this. But when I end, I'm in a position just like I started.
Okay.
I started like this, I ended like this.
Okay.
Okay? Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. What else did I miss?
I have something to say.
What's up?
I notice a lot. If you're falling, I'm going to suggest if you would like to do a lot of toe stop work to get bigger and lower your toe stops. And you can ask Aldivo about the 3-finger rule.
Legit though, I mean, exactly what you were saying about like getting the fuck out of Dodge. The way you got to do that is to have good pickup speed. The number one best way to have good pickup speed is to abide by the 3-finger rule, so you can have stable practice of stability.
Yeah, if you look at everyone here,
So-
really
low we are.
big low toe stops because
Yeah, low we are.
I
So-
mean, essentially, first of all,
Back
for
to
those
the
who
zero.
don't know, actually, every day, why don't you define for us what a trifecta of stability is?
Oh, well, a trifecta of stability is your toe stops and your 2 front wheels on your front trucks. That's the trifecta of stability.
What's the number one thing that affects your trifecta of stability?
One of your babies ready to
Say it again.
You heard me. All right. Now, the 3-finger rule is the number one most important thing. You want to have no more, no less than 3 fingers worth of air between the ground and your heel wheels when your trifecta is down, right? If you got 5, 6, 7 fingers worth of air right now and you're doing this princess shit, like, it's gonna really hinder your ability to pick up speed out of this, because we want to be able to like either run in those toe stops or do that heel to toe run out of there, and it's just going to really affect your ability to be stable with that stuff.
Yeah, if you can fit a full fist, like under your back trucks, like fisting is bad, like in this.
I
think at any point if you go up onto your toe stops and you feel like you're going to fall forwards, that means that they need to be lowered down. So you should be able to pop up onto your toe stops and back onto your wheels and feel completely responsible for your balance. If you go up and you sort of tip forward, they're too high.
So if you're falling, most likely check your toe stops.
Awesome. Who's next?
Okay.
All right,
Hi guys.
take it away.
I'm going to teach you guys some basic backwards blocking stuff. It may seem like a simple concept, but it's something that I see a lot of people maybe are not as successful as they could be because they're not fully understanding one basic element about backwards blocking, and that is being responsible for our own balance. So when we're skating forwards, when we're learning to positional block, we're always told to get low, right? Bend our knees, make sure our weight's sort of over our like not forward past our knees or over to the side. Exactly the same thing happens and needs to happen with backwards blocking. And I think what happens with a lot of people with backwards blocking is they go from, look at my sweet roller derby positional blocking stance, and now I'm backwards blocking. And so what I'm really going to encourage us to do is just take this mentality around this way and focus on our backwards blocking in an isolated stance and being responsible for our balance. So, a lot of the time, especially when we're trying to provide resistance with backwards blocking, we rely on our toe stops, which is totally fine. I love using my toe stops when I'm backwards blocking. But what I don't want to do is look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, like this. Because as soon as Steph pulls off, A, I've fallen over. You look, no fun. You look like you went. Two, I've probably just caused a penalty, right? In the direction of gameplay. So, one super important thing is I'm going to keep my knees bent when she's making that contact. So instead of blocking up here, I'm going to block down here, keeping my knees bent the whole time. So when she pushes on me and I apply pressure on my toe stops and she pulls off, I'm responsible for my balance. So a super easy way to do this, I definitely keep a reasonably wide-ish stance before I've made contact with the jammer. And to make sure that I'm being responsible for my balance when they make contact with me, I'll stagger my legs so that I've always got one leg supporting my weight. So when I'm catching, my legs are even. When I'm caught, I take one leg forward to hold my balance and my weight, and I have one leg back that's really providing a lot of the braking. So if we're rolling, and she pulls off, I'm still here. I'm ready to catch again. If she pulls off and dances for a while and moves around, I can bring my feet back together. Sorry, Jesse. I can bring my feet back together. So I'm going to basically get us rolling with our feet stationary, with our feet sort of shoulder width apart. The second someone makes contact with us, I want you to split your legs. I don't mind if you do it, if you're providing slowing power with your edges or your toe stops. Doesn't matter, I do a bit of both. Whatever's comfortable for you. I think it's good to find out your groove, what works for you, and do that. There's no right or wrong answer to this. But I really do want to see a stagger between those legs. I will have my leading foot forward, depending on which shoulder I'm making contact with. So, generally, my foot will come forward with my shoulder. So if Steph makes contact to the inside of my body, my inside leg and my inside shoulder is presenting the main contact. If she makes it to the outside, my outside leg and my outside shoulder are making contact. I find for me that definitely to have the dominant shoulder heading in the direction that she's going, I want to present a really strong space in that. I don't want to have a weak side or a back side to the direction she's heading, because obviously if she's stronger than me, she's just going to spin me out. So, when I'm waiting to catch my jammer, she chooses the inside. I'm going to present a nice strong hard edge on the in with that leg forward. If she pulls off, my feet come together. If she takes out, nice strong leg and shoulder on the outside. Okay? Pretty simple. It's something that I think you guys are totally gonna kill at. So I just want you to get with your buddy, have them roll in front of you, then just pick a side nice and slow, and we're just gonna take them to a stop.
Ready? Yeah, ready? I'm gonna be like here, kind of square to catch her, and if she comes to the side, I'm gonna point it down. Oh, in the sweet spot. Right? So like the lower I come on you, the more control I'm gonna have on her. And then it also stops, and I'm basically putting out like I'm here, and I'm basically like putting out like this. Okay? Ready?
Backwards blocking and any blocking in general is keeping our hips square to the track, keeping our body square to the track. So I think a lot of the time, you know, we all know that classic sort of like butt chase move. And I think that there's definitely, like that is a good example of when getting not square to the track is a bad thing. I think the example of when we're doing it in this context, if I can grab someone, is really turning our shoulders, which leads to us turning our hips. So if bowler's pushing on here, I'm seeing a lot of people sort of like this, turning to the side, which means that, or making that contact with just one side of the shoulder. And I think realistically, even though my legs are staggered, I'm aiming to keep the contact reasonably flat across the track and keep my hips and my shoulders square to the track. So when I say square, I'm square now, I am not square now, I am square again, okay? So generally when I'm blocking, most of the time, I'll try and spend most of my time either this way or this way and minimize my sort of in-between ground if possible. So when that block is making contact, I'm really aiming to have a nice wide catch on my chest rather than a turned shoulder or a turned hip. Because I think that often leads to us being in not a good position to recover laterally very quickly. I want to be able to get across the track this way really fast when I'm doing this, because this Juki jammer is absolutely most of the time going to be faster than me. So I need to give myself the best option for success with this, keeping my hips nice and square. Another thing I was seeing a little bit of, I know we're all friends and it's a great time at Rollercon, but don't hug your buddies, not on the track. I think this is a very backwards blocking. I see a lot of people either do this one and push back, or I see a lot of people sort of like have their arms out and sort of tend to close in, especially if they're losing it. So one thing I'd really encourage you to do, take your hands down by your sides. If you want to present big when they're coming to you, cool. The second they make contact, take your arms down, just to minimize risk. If we have them here, and we're not comfortable and fluid in the technique yet, we're likely to clamp or overextend. If they're not there to start with, then we're just lessening that risk, yeah? As we get super gnarly at this skill, we can start building those legal bits back in, but I think for the moment it's cool to keep them down. So, a few things. I want you to think about keeping your hips square, keeping those arms down, and I want you to think about your lateral movement across the track. So, super important that we're able to move laterally. I think a lot of the time with backwards blocking, or just blocking in general, people will always move forward to recover position. But ideally, what I want you to do is only move forward to maintain legality, or if the jammer pushes me forward. At no point am I going to give her a spare few feet. No way, not a chance. So if she makes contact with me and she pulls off and she's jerking, I'm not going to roll forward to give myself more chance to catch. I'm going to sink low, power my legs, and get ready to move laterally to catch. So if she makes contact and pulls off, I'm just low, I sink back down into that stance. My feet are back to that reset position, not in our staggered position. And I'm ready to then burst to either side. So the footwork to move to either side I'm going to do facing you guys. I reckon this is something you guys all would have done before. We do it a lot in a forwards direction. A lot of coaches teach it. It's basically, I'm planting a straight edge. Imagine I'm this way. I'm planting a straight edge, lifting my foot, rolling to the side, stepping, stepping. Rolling to the side, stepping, stepping. So it's this motion. So can you guys get a little space around you? And I want you to practice that for a second. You guys are awesome at that. Thank you. That's excellent. That makes my job way easier. So that's the sort of footwork. We're going to be using that in a combination of our toe stops to track the person laterally. Bring it in nice and close for me. So when bowler is approaching me and I'm going for that.
Stay low. Support your own weight, support your own weight. You don't want to get that direction. All right, let's stop right here. Let's stop right here. So when it's you doing catching, right? Yeah. So you're here, but what happens is what you're doing is you're coming off your toe stops and kind of bouncing. And so what happens when you do that is that makes you stand up because you're trying to defend yourself, right? Make sure you stay low, right? And I'm driving. She switches shoulders. I got my own way. I'm driving, all right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What you're leaning forward. So if she goes away, you might get clockwise walk. So when she's making contact with you, you can bring your hips forward. Okay. Just a tiny bit so that you're centered over this body. Okay. So that's a little tuck. Yep. All right. There you go. Remember to try to keep your shoulders as square to her as possible. Instead of trying to take her like this. Here's front. So you want to try to take her this way, not this way. Okay.
Really important thing with backwards blocking is to never chase the contact for a hit. So I definitely will always catch in that moment and then try and convert that into a hit or a drive over the line, because if at any point I am stepping in the opposite direction to play, the opposite direction that this jammer's momentum is heading, if I miss it, I'm stuffed, okay? So if I throw myself in this direction and she's throwing herself in this direction, if I don't get that timing, that accuracy of that hit perfect, there's no way I will recover from that hit. So I think a really important thing with any backwards blocking is to be patient, cover laterally, and do not chase the contact. Once you have the contact from a lateral cut, a lateral motion, then you can convert into a hit or a drive. But I think too often what we see is when a jam is coming up, that someone goes for a hit, and then Steph Maney does some like super fancy thing where she just gets right by you. So I'm definitely going to wait till she comes, makes a move, and I'm going to catch, and then from there I can think about turning it into a hit. I think that's about it. You guys were totally badass at that. Is there any questions on that? No? Awesome. Well done. Good stuff.
So now Scott Hamilton's going to do a section.
Alright. I wanted to add on to what Scald had with her
Scooch and ride.
Scooch and ride. So you get in that position, you get around, and then there's like two blockers that you're like looking at. You're like, oh God, you're gonna hit me. Coming at me, you're in this corner, right? Got around them, boom. There's two people just like reforming to the front. What do? I don't know. I'm gonna turn around and accelerate backwards because I want to take the hips and I want to go forward with them. I don't want them to have any kind of contact with them. So if we do the scooching back, can I get a blocker? You do it. You want me to do it? Okay. Here, you can use it. Yeah. All right.
I have no idea what he wants me to do right now. Okay.
That's what I like. All right. So go. I'm gonna be a blocker. Give me around. All right. Now what we're gonna do. Turn around and accelerate.
So slow pull, right?
Turning my shoulder, I make the contact, right? So I'm trying to make it enough said, right? Alright. So now give me a blocker. I want you. Okay, and on the inside. Okay. So we're gonna make it at the corner right here. Alright.
We're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it. Alright. So here. Let's try it. So I want to make it a contact first. So opening up here, I'm gonna go first. Get that shoulder turned, giving her my back. I'm gonna ride around her, cut her leg out, I'm gonna push her hip in, and then I'm gonna turn around to accelerate out. Alright? So first what I want to do is teach you guys the actual like footing and how to accelerate. Yeah, let's get it. Alright. So we can just like kind of make our like three lines, right? We're gonna push, do our right leg first. We're just gonna do a nice mohawk, right? Here. That's it. Alright, so we're gonna push on the right foot, mohawk. That's what we're gonna do. So do 3 lines down there, 3 lines here. Make sure you get a good pull out. That balance, it's all about the balance. Okay, so we're doing the scooch around. The scooch around. I'm really bad. Scooch around.
Scooch and ride.
Scooch and ride. Okay, so do the scooch and ride. She's making contact with me. Right?
So I'm up.
Yeah, we'll roll. Got that. What I'm gonna do is keep all my weight on this right foot. Okay? Let's go back. Like you were saying, right? It's all in that.
This one holds, yeah, this one holds it.
This is what you're gonna hold.
Right, yeah.
So to be able to get into that turn position, you have to make sure that all your weight's there. So moving in. Right there. Right? Get the contact. She can push me all day because I don't have to work that hard, right? Okay. So keep coming. Here. Nice. Alright. So, does anybody have any questions about that? It's the same thing that we were doing with push and turn, right? So all you're doing is the screech around, holding it. I mean no disrespect. I'm very sorry. Scooch and ride, right? Hold the right leg. When you can open that hip up to turn around backwards, accelerate backwards. That's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions?
I think so in the scooch and ride that we did before, I talked about really riding it almost into the line as if it was the last line of defense. This is a good maneuver if 2 people have cycled up past that person and you need to motivate your way out of that. So being able to spin at the last second and then continue out of that is where this is going to be applied. It's hard to simulate those 2 blockers coming up right now, so we're just going to have you physically do it without those 2 impending doom moments, right? I'm assuming?
Yes, no,
okay.
you're totally correct.
So, I don't know how you want to say that.
Let's just set a scenario up and then they can kind of get the picture and then just do it, right? So let's just have 3 blockers out here. Okay, I'm on the outside. You're gonna catch me, right? Yep. So you got the catch, right? I'm watching to see them, so I'm getting that turn, so I'm able to watch that inside. So that I can cut off. Accelerate out. Does anybody see that again, or we good? Yes. Oh, no, I like that too. If y'all want to go out there, let's do it one more time. Yeah, I'm not structured. Thank you very much. That was, appreciate it. Right, that's what we're going to do. We're just kind of set it up with
Careful now.
no, that's not me.
So fast, Aaron.
doing and
Kind of got what we're doing? Yeah. Right? So you said run here.
Okay, so what Scott wants us to do is have 2 groups on each side of the track, 2 lines over here and 2 lines over there, split ourselves evenly, and then we'll run partners down the track to practice. The goal being if
Okay, so I'm leading the next bit, in the same vein of what we've just been doing there and with sport, like we're going to talk about touching our hips a little more, and this time we're going to be using it to maintain a good solid blocking position to make sure that we maintain our body advantage at all times when we're blocking someone on the track. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we kind of need to loosen up our hips. So everyone just get a bit of space. Like just do, do that thing with your arms with a helicopter and make sure you're not touching anyone. Everyone got space?
the other day.
Oh yeah.
Okay, can everyone see at least one quad star? What? Can everyone see at least one quad star, yeah? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that we've got like a movement in our core. So we're just going to try and keep our shoulders square to where we are, and then we're going to twist our hips side to side. Okay, ready? Twist in this direction, keep your shoulders square, twist back in the other direction, and I want you to try and get as far as you can without turning your upper body side up. Come on in. Yeah? Everyone good? Okay, now we're going to take it the next level, and we're going to just focus on turning our hips, like rotating it like this. Okay? I don't know if I like Yeah? Really loosen them up. Like imagine you've got the world's biggest hula hoop and you're trying to get it around. Your hips? Yeah, and back in the other direction. Yeah? Okay, now we're all gonna thrust our hips aggressively forward. Yeah, like we're Channing Tatum, like in this scene. Okay, so we're just gonna go back, we're gonna wiggle our butts, and we're gonna go drive our hips forward. Really aggressively forward. Okay, and back again. Wiggle your butt. Okay, and aggressively forward. Yeah. Okay, one more time. Yeah. And then we're gonna lie on the ground. Yeah. Okay, we're not gonna do that, man. Okay. So the reason why we did all that is to make sure that our hips were nice and loose, because what we want to do is we want to start forwards facing. We want to keep our shoulders square to the track. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just make a little question mark arc to the side of the track, and then we're going to continue, we're going to end up forwards facing again. So we're going to twist our hips out to the side. We're going to go butt first to the edge. Okay, so we're going to kick our right heel out. We're going to go butt first to the edge, and we're going to do a tiny little question mark. We're going to go slightly forwards and end up slightly backwards. Okay, we're going to stop on the edge as hard as we can. So if I do it a little bit quicker. Yeah? One more time. Can everyone see? Yeah? Okay. So can I get like 2 or 3 other people doing this? Like one in front and one behind? Yeah, we're all going to do the same thing. We're going to kick our heels out. We're going to make a little question mark up. And then end up straight forward again. So as we're turning to the side, we want to keep our upper body forwards facing. We don't want to turn side on. So forwards facing, question mark, and then straight forwards again. Okay, if you're going side on, you need to disconnect. You need to like rotate those, like as if you're grinding salt and pepper, it's like something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And you need to like disconnect the top and the bottom and make sure that you're twisting those hips up but your body stays forward facing. Any questions? Okay, everyone on the track please.
in, chest forward, and then square up. All right, let's try it. Nice. Just make sure you don't, that's why she wants you to disengage that upper body, right? So I can keep it square with the track, because otherwise we lose sight of the jammer, and it just becomes our bottom chasing a blind object that we can't see, right? All right, let's try it. Nice, that was much better though. Yes.
I'm getting a couple questions like, where does your power come from? Like, if I was doing this, it's basically the opposite leg to the direction that you're going. So if I'm on the inside and I want to go to the outside, I'm going to use my inside leg to like push off all that power, and then I'm going to kick my heel out on this leg, and then the other leg's going to follow. And another thing that I'm seeing people do is they're just going to over-rotating at the end. I just want to make sure that people start stopping hard and sharp. And this is another thing, like what Tui's saying, like you want to stay nice and strong and keep your balance really centered. I really want you to think about that as you're doing it. So I really hope I do this demo well. It's going to be super embarrassing if I go past my center point. Okay, so load up this leg, push up with all the power on this side, question mark, and then stop, and stop straight forward. Try not to over-rotate and go slightly past. Okay? Okay, carry on. We're going to do this for another minute. Okay, so some of the things that people are doing that I don't think are ideal for me, the way that I do it, is some people would tell it turning their upper body fully side down along with their legs. And so they were kind of like, they were like skating out at 45 degrees and then straightening up. We don't want to be side down. Okay, when we're side down, we're super easy to turn, and we're also bad teammates. No one can work with us in this direction or this way if we don't have, if our bodies are side down. And also we're pretty narrow, and if someone hits me in the side of the butt here, I'm just going to turn, and we don't want that. This is a hard thing to move. When your shoulders are squared to the track, it's hard to move, and that's what we want. The other thing that people were doing is they were kind of side surfing towards the edge of the track, which is not how I would do it, but it might be how Jukebox would do it, because she's like super like flexible in this direction. But I'm like naturally duck-toed, so this just like feels like the most comfortable thing in the world. But so if it feels like right for you to do it like that, do it like that. But for me personally, and what I try to coach is that to go first to the edge with both feet in that direction. Yeah? Okay. The thing is with this position, it tends to be a little bit unstable. Okay. For me, yes.
When you do that, are you supposed to more or less have the feet aligned, or are you supposed to be like wide?
I feel like when I do this, they're a little bit wide. They're probably just more than shoulder width apart. Yeah? Cool. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit more movement around the body. And if we can get all our bump buddies doing this one as well, and everyone up on the skates and grab a partner real quick. Okay, so make sure you have enough space. Like you need space in front and space to the sides. Okay. Now hold each other's hand. Okay. So what we're going to imagine now is that the person to your right is the jammer. Okay. And she has gone from like being directly behind you to like coming along, like she's swooped to the right side to get around you on the outside, which is what jammers tend to do. Okay? And often what we would do is we try and drive them to the edge like this. Yeah, but if we're like this, I only have like a third of my body in front of a third of her body. And if she's one of those like twisty jammers, she'll spin out of it. And so that's not really very good body positioning. I need to get more of my body in front of more of her body, so I'm in more control. Okay? So the thing that we want to do is we want to start off in this position, and she's going to be applying a little bit of pressure to our upper body. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that, that aggressive hip driving forward. We're going to drive our hips forward, and then we're going to twist them around. and then we're gonna keep this shoulder pinned to her back. Okay, so that it's very tempting for us to bring this shoulder down, but if we bring it down, we're just doing that boot scoot thing to the edge like this. Okay, we don't want to do that. And by keeping that shoulder pinned back, if we need to go forward facing again, all I need to do is twist my hips. Yeah? But if I need to do that and I'm fully side on, it becomes a bigger maneuver. Fucking genius! I'm gonna get a quote. Okay, so let me just play Tatum Channing one more time. Genuine. Sorry, someone just boxed at me and it just like. Okay. Okay. Okay, so everyone loosen up those hips a little bit. Okay, so bring that right knee and that shoulder across in front. Make contact with that upper body. We need that contact. She needs to apply a little bit of pressure, and then we're going to drive our hips forward. Drive them forward, and then we're going to swing them around in front. Yeah? And we're going to keep that shoulder furthest away, pinned to her chest. Yeah? Okay, so I'm now in this position. Yeah? As we can all agree, it's probably one of the sexiest moves in roller derby. But one of the things that I really want you to take notice of is how far out my butt is right now. So I'm just going to turn it, and I want everyone to take a good old look at my ass. So I really hope I was wearing some non-VLP, non-visible panty line knickers, but I don't think I did. But we need to make sure that my butt is sticking out further than her hips. Because if my butt is sticking out further than her hips, if she drives in this direction, I get a free ride. She can't disconnect and she can't bring her hips around. And that's what we want. The lazier I can be, the better. Because the more energy I have, and she's doing all the work to take us both to the edge of the track. And she thinks she's gonna make it, and she won't. Okay? So everyone, let's do this one more time, and then we'll switch over in our pairs. I'm gonna play Genuine again, just to help us. Okay. Okay, step across. Make contact with that upper body. Drive your hips forward. Swing them across. And make sure your butt is sticking out. Sticking out.
Like I'm serious. Oh God, here we go. I suck with
Okay, step across with your right leg and your right shoulder. Make contact with the upper body. Make sure the person behind is applying a little bit of pressure. Aggressively drive those hips forward. Yeah. Switch your butt across and make sure your butt ends out further than my hips. Then your partner's hips. Yeah? Keep that shoulder pinned back.
and then this swing.
Tracy Akers has a really handy way of remembering how to move your butt in this situation.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you have taken my classes before, but I don't know if you know what like yes but no but is. I'm gonna tell you. So, you know, no matter your sex, whatever, say, you know, the way our stances is very like, I'm presenting myself, right? So I'm presenting myself, and then you're like, yeah, this is great, I want it, and then they go for maybe a different hole that you don't want, and you go, no. And then it's like, okay, we can commence. So basically what we're doing is from yes to no to yes. Yes but no. It's really like you're really clinching in, throw the hips forward. Like you do not want anything entering you whatsoever. And then you go ahead next time.
I find that really helpful.
Okay, everyone ready to give it a go again? We're going to do it one more time with each partner. So back to the original position. Step across with your foot, make comes over the upper shoulder. Use that positioning with the upper shoulder to go no, 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 no. Yeah, and then do okay, we'll try it.
Just kidding, I didn't mean to say no.
Okay, switch over in your pairs. Okay, step across, make up with the upper body. Use that upper body concept. No, 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 no.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. We're a loving couple. Yeah. Good. Make sure your butt is sticking out further than the side of their hips. No, 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 no. It's about the signals that we're giving each other, which is a good sign. Okay. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to do this in our pairs. There's a lot of us here, so try and be mindful of each other on the track. But what we're going to do is we're going to have our partner start directly behind us. She's going to move around to the side, and I'm going to wait until she's about this far across, okay? And she has to drive. She has to really aim for that outside line and drive like diagonally forwards. If she doesn't go for it, then I've got nothing to push against, because you know I kind of need this. I need her drive to balance against for that moment whilst I'm no-no-knowing my way across my hips. Yeah. So as she moves across, I'm going from a poor body positioning. I'm going to use this shoulder here to drive across. I'm going to tilt my hips forward and then bring it around and then straighten up when I get to the other side. Okay, and look how I've got full body advantage right now. Okay, she's directly behind me, and that is exactly what I want. I've gone from here to here. Okay, and I really want to make sure I keep this shoulder pinned back. I want to imagine that there's Velcro on her shoulder, the front of hers and the back of mine, and I want to keep it like this so that I can straighten up real easy. Okay, one more time.
So the jammer part's really important. If I don't drive at a 45-degree angle, then she won't be able to do the move, because this is very specific to what the jammer's doing.
Yeah, we're kind of equalizing the force.
I'm aiming for right about small. Okay, right where she's at, that's about where I'm aiming for, and then she has to control me if we're going there. Yeah?
Yep, okay, go. Yep, everyone understand? Does anyone need to see it again? One more time, one more time.
And if you guys really watch steps, there's never a moment where she doesn't have contact with the jammer. That's super important.
Okay, go. Yep. She cheated. Okay, does everyone understand? Okay, really, like, I cannot stress enough how much, like, you know, all that stuff we did at the beginning. There's a reason we did that, because a lot of time when I'm teaching this, people basically do kind of like, they get here and then they go like that. And they're really reluctant to thrust forward with their hips. Really thrust forward with your hips. You need to bring your hips around someone else to get them back in front. So really over-exaggerate that movement, because you're probably still not going to do it enough whilst you feel awkward and shy about it. Okay, everyone on the track, get in there, get into pairs.
First? Okay. Yeah, I think so. I'm trying. That's fucking hard.
That's right. Ready? So pushing, hips up. Yep. And swing. Yeah.
All my options are open to me rather than if I'm facing in this direction. Okay? And so what I'm seeing a lot of people doing is they're going all the way over here and they're waiting right until the last minute to get into that position. I want you to go a lot earlier. I want you to imagine that the halfway point of the track is the ideal moment to make that turn. But you need to start moving into that position sooner. So you push, you twist your hips forward, and then straighten up in the middle of the track. Don't wait too long, okay? Another thing is that you need to, don't go too laterally. If you go too sharp on the side, then it's easier for them to bowl you over, okay? You need to give them a little bit of an angle because then they feel like they're gonna get past you, but it's not gonna happen. Okay, so you go slightly diagonally in this direction whilst keeping your upper body square. That gives them the feeling that they're gonna make it. It also makes, and it stops them from disengaging. If they know they're not gonna make it, they're gonna disengage and go in a different direction. So you turn, you go slightly diagonally backwards, and then you straighten up as you feel them slow down as they get towards the edge. Yeah? Everyone good?
I have a comment on that.
Yes.
Since you have done this direct thing to me, and I know exactly what you're talking about as far as that feeling of, oh, get to the freedom beyond. The thing is, like, realistically, she's taken about, 5 feet to make that happen. I think as blockers, we get obsessed with must stop right now. Don't have room to stop, right? When really we have 19 feet to make that happen, right? So luring us as jammers into that sense of freedom is an excellent thing to do, and you have more space to execute this than you think. And she absolutely will ride it for a little while to lure us into that sense of freedom.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Yeah, that's it.
I just wanted to say I saw a lot of people leading with their toe instead of their heel when they're trying to take their hips forward. So a lot of people, as they were bringing their hips forward, they were leading with their toe to try and get in front. And I think a really important part of bringing that hip around is that Steph will lead with her heel in that moment to bring her hips around rather than her toes. So just make sure that it's these wheels here that are leading the sexy moves.
Yeah, it's extremely sexy moves. Okay, everyone back on the track. We're going to do this for another 3 minutes and then we're going to bring it in. Okay, go.
So as a blocker, come here. So give me my hip as a jammer. Turn around with my lateral movement. Here. You see how it's smooth movements. I'm here. I'm there. I'm not gonna stepping. You want to make it real smooth. You want to let that jammer put the pressure. That jammer's going to put the pressure. You use that pressure, and then you swing around. So that's where the contact throughout the whole move is important, because that tension she's putting on your back is going to keep you balanced and smooth on your transitions.
Okay.
And then when you get to that line, you have her breaking your back and she keep doing it. Okay. For those smooth transitions, you don't want to come across the track stepping. You want to, so you my jammer? Right here. So swing around.
There you go.
Create space between that space.
Maybe you can do it with my feet. So I'm gonna grab this way. Yep. Okay. Go. As I push, leave this, and then hips up, and yeah, and then come around. Pause. As soon as you lift the shoulder, you lose all contact, and then that's when the jump is. So yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hopefully you get it. Alex has kindly offered to have all this footage available on a YouTube. So if you feel like this or you know how that shit goes, where it's like in one ear out the other. You got it. So, anyway, thanks again. Any photos or any questions that you have after this, let's take it to the Bont booth. And we got to de-gear ASAP so the next class can come in. Thanks again. Let's bring it in. All right, here's what it is. Bont buddies, fuck yeah on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bont buddies, fuck yeah!